Live from your local news leader, KAMR Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Americans are still recovering after the events on Capitol Hill Wednesday, and President Trump is back on social media after a 12-hour Twitter suspension.
Thanks for joining us. Before we dive into our news headlines, however, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist John Harris. He's been tracking winter weather advisories and storm warnings across our area. He joins us now live in studio with the very latest. John, snow still in the forecast.
Indeed it is, Jackie. In fact, by this time tomorrow night, we will see it coming in from New Mexico, and it could be snowing to beat the band by late tomorrow night into early on Sunday morning. Now, so we'll talk about those snow totals in just a moment. Jackie?
All right, John, thanks to you and your team for tracking it for us. We appreciate you.
You bet.
The Taliban taking full control of Afghanistan after the withdrawal of U.S. troops. Congressman Ronnie Jackson weighs in on the situation.
And parents still pushing for mask mandates in schools as kids head back to classrooms. Today, Texas Supreme Court is allowing a temporary restraining order from one county judge to stand.
And thunderstorms have been rolling across the panhandles today. Lots of cloud ground lightning. We'll have the latest rainfall reports in a moment.
KMR Local 4 News at 10 starts after this.
KAMR Local 4 News at 10 starts now.
American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves.
As the Taliban continues its rapid takeover of Afghanistan, U.S. officials are grappling with how to respond.
Thanks for joining us tonight. This after U.S. troops were recently pulled from that region. That story topping our news tonight at 10 from your local election headquarters. A man wanted for murder in Amarillo now in custody after an hours-long standoff with law enforcement in Hereford.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Let's get to tonight's top story at 10. According to Hereford police, it happened on the 1000 block of South Julian Street. They say 22-year-old James Morales crashed his vehicle and ran into a home after a chase at the edge of the city limits. That's when they notified Amarillo police. APD brought their SWAT negotiators and bomb team. After hours of negotiating with the suspect, he was taken into custody. To recap, the shooting Morales is wanted in connection with happened Saturday afternoon on the 600 block of South Mississippi. He is wanted for the murder of 24-year-old Timothy McCullough. Perryton police officer arrested and charged for child pornography. That is breaking news at this hour. According to Perryton police, Officer Aaron Daugherty is charged with federal transportation of child pornography. The arrest stems from a joint investigation involving the Texas Rangers and Amarillo FBI agents. According to Police Chief Michael Smith, Daugherty has been placed on administrative leave.
Back here at home, a drive-by shooting in northwest Amarillo has left one woman with life-threatening injuries. It happened just before 10 last night in the 800 block of South Florida. According to APD, an 18-year-old was shot while sitting in her parked car in the driveway. She was taken to the hospital. Police say they found several shell casings in the street. They also found a house with bullet holes in the front. If you have any information on this incident, you are asked to call Amarillo Police. The 2021 Fajita Festival is underway at the Starlight Ranch Event Center right now. Here's a live look at that festival. The Amarillo Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is hosting this event. There's plenty of food and live music, and it wraps up at 10:30 tonight, so you have plenty of time to head over there and get your fajita fix.
Texas is ready to open up 100%. That's according to Texas Governor Greg Abbott's announcement from Lubbock on Tuesday.
The man leading the Lone Star State's COVID-19 response joins us live from the state capitol. Good evening, Governor Abbott. Good to have you on air again. First question, kind of out of the gate here. What's the timeline on getting every adult in Texas vaccinated?
I'm going to break this down into two groups. The first is our seniors, who are the most vulnerable, people aged 65 and older. Practices of maintaining safe distances, washing your hands, and wearing a face mask, continue to do all of those things.
All right. Thank you, Governor.
Live from your local news leader, home of the #1 10 p.m. newscast on the High Plains. KAMR Local 4 News at 10 starts now.
We have an update on the shooting that happened last night in Northeast Amarillo. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Police have identified the man who died. That's topping our news tonight at 10. As we first told you last night, Amarillo police were called to the 500 block of South Bivens Street to investigate a report of a man allegedly walking down the street pointing a gun at people. They made contact with the suspect, 42-year-old Trinidad Mary. This was near Southeast 8th and Browning. Here's a look at the scene after the shooting happened last night. Police say Mary was shot by officers on the 500 block of South Bivens. Mary died at the scene. Police still investigating. Detectives right now asking that anyone who witnessed the incident call the Amarillo Police Department to help out with that investigation. A child in Curry County injured during a shooting incident. According to the sheriff's office, it happened around noon at 1051 New Mexico, 331 in Clovis. They say deputies and the Clovis Fire Department responded to the call, claiming a 4-year-old was shot in the head. They say the child was taken to the hospital, then flown to the medical facility there in Lubbock. The sheriff's office says the child was home with a parent when it happened. That investigation just getting underway. Nearly 300 new cases reported by the city of Amarillo today, bringing you facts, not fear. Today, Amarillo Public Health reporting 297 new cases of COVID-19 in Potter and Randall counties, 78 new recoveries, 4 new deaths to report. Those were in Potter County. There are more than 3,500 active cases at this time. Public Health Director Casey Stoughton given an update on our area's COVID-19 response during today's City Council meeting. According to Stoughton, the city is averaging 216 new cases per day. She also says 46% of the COVID-19 tests at the drive-through site are coming back positive. The city has sent a request to the state for another infusion site, but they have yet to hear back from officials. Today, we hosted a coronavirus special called Coronavirus Facts, Not Fear, the Delta Surge. KMR Local 4's Jack Kessler has a recap with information from local health experts on the impact the variant is having on younger people and the struggles local hospitals are facing.
Local health experts weighing in on the COVID-19 Delta surge.
That's a toxic dose of that drug.
Earlier this month, the city raised our COVID-19 status from status level orange to status level red. Live in studio, Jack Kessler, KMR Local 4 News. Andy?
Jack, thank you. Dr. Weiss says the COVID-19 vaccine, they are less responsive right now to the Delta variant, but they are still effective enough to prevent most severe cases, hospitalizations, and death. Here are some places you can get your COVID-19 vaccine. The mobile vaccine clinic will be out at the Amarillo College West campus tomorrow from 10 to 5. Thursday at the Wofford Activity Center from 10 to 5. You can also go to the Amarillo Public Health Department. They're open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9 to 5. Tuesday from 9 to 6. You have to set up an appointment before you get the vaccine. The fight for the fate of the Amarillo City Hall continues. The latest from today's City Council meeting in just a moment. We'll tell you where they're going next. But we want to check in with Chief Meteorologist John Harris to take a look at that forecast. Good evening, John.
And good evening, Andy. Well, today was just a blistering hot August day. Temperatures around 100 this evening. Very pleasant. Blistering hot just like today, Andy. And then as we travel into the weekend, those chances for thunderstorms return. Back to you.
No, we could use the rain, John. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Today, the Amarillo City Council voted to withdraw its plan to issue certificates of obligation to fund a proposed City Hall project. Now the council is back to square one on funding. Amarillo Mayor Ginger Nelson says while City Hall is still in need of repair, they are taking a step back to hear from citizens about how to move forward. At this point, there is pending protest petition and a lawsuit between an Amarillo business owner and the city on issuing COs for this project. Tonight, KMR Local 4's Kaylee Green gets both sides of the story. That's from your local election headquarters.
Tuesday's vote comes after Amarillo business owner Craig Galtier filed.
Now, it's unclear what will happen with the joint lawsuits after the council withdrew COs today. As we reported yesterday, those cases are in the process of being transferred back to Potter County. Live in studio, Kaylee Green, KMR Local 4 News. Andy?
Kaylee, thank you. Mayor Nelson says they're not back to square one for planning the City Hall project. They just need to find the best way to be diligent with the tax dollars. A bill in the state capitol aims to limit transgender athlete participation in public school sports. Next, why lawmakers are tackling the topic with only 2 weeks left in the special session.
And we are checking out our Pampa camera. It's a lovely evening over in Gray County, Texas. Is there a chance for rain this weekend in Pampa? We'll talk about that after the break.